Welcome, welcome, welcome to the True Reflections Show. It's your ladies here with the most, Lux Rose and Millie, Millie, and Lux Rose. We are so grateful that you're here with us today. And before we begin this whole talk show, we invite you here to arrive just being fully present in this moment, y'all. Right. So wherever you're at, sit up nice and tall. Shoulders are back down and relaxed away from the ears. And let's take a slow, gentle breath, inhaling here and gently, slowly release as you breathe out. And let's do that again. Take a nice deep breath. Inhale through the nose. And gently exhale, release. And just know that there is nothing that you need to fix right now. In this moment, nothing that you need to fix, nothing you need to accomplish. We just invite you to be here together with us. Today's reflection is called, y'all, The Hard No, Part One. So I'm going to turn it over to my sis, Millie.
Yay, the hard
Yay,
no,
Mama
part
Millie.
one. Hello.
Hi, Millie.
Oh, I love taking those deep, deep breaths.
Yes.
It's really nice. Okay.
Mhm.
So lately we found ourselves talking about something that has become almost like a mantra for this season of life. It's a hard no. No means no.
I love that, Millie. Yes, yes. Not because we're angry, right? Not because we've become like cold, basically because we have realized something very important. We realize that sometimes protecting our peace means standing firmly behind those boundaries that we've already chosen, right?
Yep.
So the hard no is not about pushing people away or, refusing to just abandon the self, ourselves. No, today's conversation is simply a reflection, y'all, not a lesson, not advice. This right here is just two women sharing experiences, right? We're asking questions and we invite you into the conversation with us. So if y'all
Yes.
ready, yes, if y'all ready, we're gonna go ahead and go and get started with our first reflection. No is not the beginning of a negotiation. Y'all, let me just say this, and Millie, you can chime in, feel free whenever.
Okay.
There's something about this no, right? When I'm listening to it, it's like, ooh, no. But then when we saying it's a hard no, I'm just like, wow. To me, that's very powerful. So I know we're getting ready to get on the first reflection. No, not being the beginning of negotiation, but I just wanted to put that out there. Like, I don't know how you feel about it, but for me, where I'm at now in this phase of the life journey, for me, is that no now being powerful and bringing me more peace, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's all about not being, afraid to use your voice and to, you know, if there's situations where a no is the most, how can I say it, the most positive outcome for yourself, I should say, and not for others, then you have to use it. You have to use that word no, even if it makes people upset, which it usually does.
Mhm. Yes, yes, yes. Love it. Absolutely. So let's get into reflection one. First reflection for tonight. No is not the beginning of a negotiation. So, why do we as women often feel the need to explain every no as if we have to give some type of explanation for it? There's,
Man,
go ahead.
it is a learned behavior. If you take it all the way back to when we was like kids, when we was going to elementary school. I believe, now this is only my opinion, I believe from elementary, we was taught in school to listen and follow instructions and to follow the guidelines and to get every answer correct and to follow a structure. And sometimes in school, we weren't allowed to say no. We weren't allowed to say, I don't want to do it, or I'm tired, or I don't want to stand in a line. I don't want to eat lunch now. I don't want to take a nap. I think it started there. It starts like in childhood, and we become adapted to listening to other people and providing some type of people pleasing type of dynamic. So people are happier with the results, even if it's not the results that we want, if that makes sense.
Hmm. Yeah, that makes plenty of sense, right? And so and then we just feel that that no needs to be accompanied by some type of explanation. Okay, here's why I'm saying no, and when I'm looking at us as far as women, I'm trying to think why we feel the need that. Well, let me put it back on myself. Why I felt the need to explain every no when I was trying my hardest to get the no out. It almost felt like I needed to have some type of justification of why I was saying no. Like I still needed to get some type of approval for my no, for my, you know what I'm saying? Like for my no to be approved. So
Yeah.
let me explain to you why I'm saying no. So if I'm not available, they want to go out and I'm just like, man, I'm really not feeling like going out. I just don't feel like. All right, well, let me think about what I need to say to explain why I'm not going to be able to make it. It's just like feeling like you just have to, for me, I'm gonna say for me, feels like I need to get some type of approval in the okay, well, she said no, that's acceptable. Like it has to be accepted, it has to be approved. I think
Yeah, it's like an application that has to be approved, like a credit application or something. Like you have to go through people
the
to look through
application of
it and
no.
say it's okay. Yeah, it's crazy. I
Right.
do understand that. Yeah, it makes
Yeah.
perfect sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, it can feel uncomfortable, and we like to please others, naturally. We like to make others feel good. And I know a lot of people are like us, the people pleasers, the ones that feels good. It feels good to please others. And saying yes and saying okay and sure, and I'll do it for you. And it feels so much better than saying no. So I think that's why we become comfortable with saying yes, and it feels so wrong with saying no. Like you mentioned, like you have to get it approved. Like, but saying yes, there's no approval. You just say yes and people just take it and it's fine. There's not really a lot of thought behind it unless if you keep saying yes and then it hinders your own growth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then it's like we so comfortable with saying yes and then making sure, like you said, being the people pleasers, right? So then they're comfortable. So then it makes us more comfortable saying yes as it makes them comfortable. So then when we say no, it's like this uneasiness. It's like, oh my gosh, well, how are they gonna feel? What are they gonna think if I say no? Because I really want to say no, but I just don't feel right. That's crazy, right? We're saying that it doesn't
Yeah.
feel right that
Yeah.
we're saying no because we really feel that we want to say no, but yet we're going to put our feelings on the back burner to please them because we know that saying yes will make them comfortable and it's more convenient for us and it doesn't cause any conflict.
Yes, that's the main word right there, conflict. We don't want to cause any
Avoid.
problems. Yeah,
Yeah. So,
avoidance,
mm-hmm.
conflict.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when you say no, people are disappointed, right? And you can feel that energy of people being disappointed, of them like relying on you, depending on you, even though a lot of people shouldn't depend on others that way, but we do. It's natural. And I feel everything that you're saying is like how most women feel, to be honest with you. It's like a weird sensation that comes over our body when we say no. Like we feel so bad. We feel like our body starts to sweat, we get headaches and all of that crazy stuff. But saying yes, don't do that, you know? So it's just a weird sensation that we have.
Right. And then it
Yeah.
causes conflict in us, right? Because then we now not only do we want to avoid conflict with the other party that we're trying to say no to, but we're also creating conflict, our own inner conflict, because we really don't want to, but we're gonna go ahead just to appease, just to oblige, right?
Yeah, and then we like almost ignore our own conflict. Like we ignore how we feel. We ignore that stress level that rises up for some reason. We just put it to the side, and the person that we were saying yes to that we didn't really want to say yes to, they're happy. They don't have no stress levels. They don't have no sweats. They don't have nothing. They're good. And I think like we always are used to like taking the hit, taking the pain, taking, all of the hard stuff, and we don't want others to suffer. And we got to come out of that. But it's, but I think that is the main reason why. And I wanted to ask you a couple questions as well, if that's okay with you. I have some questions to ask you. And it definitely pertains to what you was talking about, far as us feeling uneasy when we say no. Hmm?
Okay.
Okay, sorry. Um, I know it definitely pertains to you saying no and like you having to get like your no's approved. So the question I have um for you is I want to just go here real quick. Have you ever said no, but later changed your answer because you felt guilty? And I know you was talking about that, far as your how you feel when you say no, how you feel when you have to like get your no approved. So what was a time when you said no, but later you changed your answer because of that uneasy feeling you have?
Hmm. So I would say, yeah, usually it happens with the invitations when I get invited to places. That's the first thing that comes up, right? So I got invited to this one place that wasn't too far from me. And I was really tired. And then I haven't seen, the people that invited me. I haven't seen them in a while. So then I felt bad. So I went ahead and said that, hey, listen, let me see how I feel. I might not be able to make it. More than likely, I'm probably not going to make it, and I'll get back to you all. But right now, just don't plan on me coming, right?
Hmm.
Then,
I get it.
and then it was then I got the call back a little later. Oh my gosh, we're doing this, and that. You just gotta come. So they're like, we haven't seen you in a while. It's
Oh
like all that.
no.
I'm just like, I'm putting my hand on my forehead right now because that's how it was for me, right? So I'm like, hmm, yeah. Then I just went ahead and was like, fine, I'm just gonna go, even if it's just for an hour. Then that hour ended up being longer than what I had planned. And yeah, because, I felt bad because I haven't seen them in a while. So it was like, well, even though I'm really tired and I want to honor my feeling, what my body's communicating to me and being tired, when they called back, it was just like, okay, fine, let me just go ahead because, it's that, yeah, but we miss you. You know what I mean? So that's what happened. And I did it and I ended up having a good time, but I still was tired. Like I wasn't up to par and having so much energy when I ended up going. When I changed my mind, changed my no to the yes, and ended up going. So,
Okay. So did that guilty feeling go away? Like you wasn't guilty anymore? Like you avoided that sensation of feeling guilty?
hmm. Yeah, because so I felt guilty. That's why I changed my mind, said yes. And did it go away? Mm, I would say it did, but then I felt like it came back because now it's getting later and later. I'm staying longer and now I'm really tired. So, yeah, it was like the guilt went away because it was nice to see them, right? But then as I'm staying there longer, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm really tired. I just want to go. And then I was like, oh, but you haven't seen them. So it went away, but then it came back.
Okay. I do understand that. That makes perfect sense. So looking back on that now, what did that situation teach you?
It taught me the exact title of our first episode here is that I need to stand firm and have my hard no be firm. That's what it taught me. It taught me that I need to put myself first and stop putting others' needs and what they desire and what they want above mine. I need to put myself as a priority. That's why I love this topic of the hard no, because it's not saying it to be mean. I've just what these instances of changing my mind when I say no, then changing it to a yes, it has definitely taught me to put myself first and not feel guilty at all because I'm putting me first.
Okay. That makes sense.
Mhm.
So the last thing I'm going to ask you, and then you're going to ask me something. I think it's really cool that we have questions that
Yes,
we
I love
have.
it.
We can ask.
Reflect
Yeah.
through reflection.
Um, if that situation happened today, would your response be different?
Absolutely. It would be a hard no because of and y'all, this is why we have this is just part one of the hard no, right? That's why we have this whole title of it's a hard no. For this season, it's a hard no. So if that happened today, then it would definitely be a hard no. And what I would say is, oh my gosh, I know you guys are gonna have a great time. However, I am super tired. I need to listen to my body and I'm sending y'all so much love and light. So you see, it's a hard no, meaning I'm standing firm in my no. That's basically what the response would be. So I will be standing firm in my hard no today as opposed to back then because I'm listening to me and I'm putting me first. Absolutely would be different.
Cool. That's amazing. I love that. Good.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
Good for
love it
you.
too. It's a hard no. Yes, I'm giving myself a little clap here. Yeah.
Yay.
Okay. All right, Millie. So let me ask you, when did you first realize that your no was not being honored?
Oh gosh. My first marriage.
Mm,
Yes, I said my first marriage. Don't judge me. Yes. My first marriage, I realized my no was not being honored. And I answered that like super quick because I remember the exact day it happened.
mm,
Um, I remember because my ex, he always loved hanging out with his friends, but I felt like a weird energy around it. I couldn't really explain it too much back then. But like I didn't want to. Like I never really wanted to. I just wanted to kind of be in a house and chill. I didn't want to go and hang out and drink and do all that extra stuff that he was doing with his friends. But like his friends, girlfriends or wives, they will always bring, their girlfriends and wives. So of course he wanted to always bring me, but I didn't want to go. And I remember he did ask me to go to like a party with him at one point. And I actually said no. Like I wasn't afraid to say no. I would just did not want to go. And I just felt comfortable enough to say no. And I remember in that moment, it was like a pause. And then he called me. He's like, you know what? You're so antisocial. And like that hurt my feelings because I'm like, I had to think about like, am I antisocial? Like, why do I not want to go out? Like I was like questioning myself. So it was not being honored at all because instead of saying, okay, honey, like, okay, well, enjoy yourself here. I'll go out and I'll let you know when I'm back. It wasn't that. It was just like you're antisocial. You never want to go anywhere. You can't be in the house all the time. I really want you to go. It was all about him. And my no was not honored at all. Not even a little bit.
mm, mm. And look how that was such a long time ago, but yet it stays right in your memory. It's fresh in your mind as far as all of that. That's
Oh
awesome.
yeah, very, very fresh.
Yeah. Yes, yes. Okay, so was there a moment when you have realized that people expected you to change your mind?
Yeah. Yeah, it was that moment. And like, not with just him, but with like everyone,
Hmm.
with family, with even when I was teaching Zumba at one point, I remember wanting to leave right after class, right? And I would tell the people that was teaching after class, hey, I gotta go. I would tell them like the very beginning, hey guys, like the main ones that always want to talk to me. I'd be like,
Hmm.
hey guys, right after this, I have to, hit it because I have something to do. And I felt like they heard me, but they just did not care. I don't know if they I don't know if that's true or was it like the energy after the class, but they always stayed and try to pull on me and talk to me, even if I'm walking towards the door. It did not matter. And for some reason I stayed and I talked. Even like I knew the easiest thing was to be like, okay, bye guys, and just leave. But I couldn't. Like I was just like just stood there and kept talking, even though I didn't want to. I just kept talking, and the conversations were great, and I did get my mind off leaving a few times, but you know, I did, from looking back at it now, that moment, people just wanted me to stay regardless, even if I couldn't, even if I told them I couldn't stay.
They still just expected you to because they just want that energy. They want to be around it. They don't want it to end, right? So again, it's just,
Yeah.
well, this is what I want for me. So maybe she could just give us a little bit more time. Yeah.
Right.
Hmm. Hmm. And again, it's just, man, when I think about that as far as a question when you said all the time, people just expect you to just change your mind because they just want what they want. I mean, we live in that society
Yeah,
where
they
they
want it
want what they
now,
want when they
right?
want, yeah, and they want it now and they expect it now regardless. Not, really being considerate of the person's situation. They gotta go and this and that. So yeah, 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 yeah. All right. So let's go into a reflection pause here, y'all, just for a moment. All right. We talked about the first reflection on no not being the beginning of a negotiation. So let's pause here for a moment. Let's take another slow inhale. Breathe in here and just gently exhale, release. And as you're listening, ask yourself, have I ever explained a boundary until I talked myself out of honoring it?
Mhm.
Just something to reflect on and think about. All right, let's go into our second reflection when it comes to speaking of boundaries, right? Soft boundaries versus clear boundaries. What does that mean to you?
Mm. Soft, little cute little boundaries. Little baby little boundaries, little cutesy. It's just like the ones that you have for like things that doesn't really affect your mental health. Like, things like, hey, when you walk through a door. Or hang on, let me rephrase that. When you see a guy open a door, you just expect them to hold the door for you. That's just like a boundary I have, like a very soft one. If it doesn't happen, then whatever. Not even a guy, anybody. If I'm going through a store and they open a door, I expect them to hold the door for me. That's just what it is because I do it for others. It's a soft one. It's not a big deal if it doesn't happen. It's all good, but I expect it. Now, versus clear, very, very clear boundaries that are not movable, that's not soft, that is just like this is what it is. When it comes to my time, I've learned that my time is precious. My time is money, my time is energy, my time is everything. So I have a very clear and strong boundary when it comes to my time. Don't waste my time, and anyone who wants my time, whether So I have to make it clear if it's like a work situation, I'm going to demand as much money as possible for like my experience. That is a very clear boundary I set for myself. That is a very new boundary too. I didn't really have that before. So that is like an example for me.
Mm. Okay.
How about you?
Yeah, I was just thinking about soft boundaries. So I have a tendency to just allow people to not respect my time, not allowing. I'm sorry, my apologies. Allowing people to not respect my time. And I would say for me, I'm just going with the clear boundary first. So now what I've learned is that what I've realized about myself and putting myself first and the boundary being very clear and set is that if we're meeting at a specific time, when it comes to professional, right? If we're meeting at a specific time, then that's just it. It's going to be that time and we're not going to go over. Now, I mean, if we go over a few minutes, that's fine, but I've allowed it to go much longer than that. And when I want to make sure that I'm having dinner early as opposed to later, well, if I'm working and I have a meeting, then I need to make sure that I'm clear on my boundary that, okay, I need to stop at this time. We can go a little bit past, but no more than X time, right? So
Okay.
my time is valuable. I think we're saying the same thing when it comes to that, right? Like my time,
Yeah.
that's my energy is very valuable, and I'm devaluing it when I'm not clear on that boundary, and that's a clear boundary for me now, given the things that have happened. As far as soft boundaries, I I I would say, it's I don't mind if I'm having a personal phone call, right? That's different, right? And we end up going past time. I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna talk to, this if I have a personal call, I haven't talked to somebody in a long time, then we're on the phone. And if we go past a little time, or I say, oh, I have to go at such and such time, that's a little softer for me, because I'm a little more lenient when it comes to the personal, especially if we're just in really good conversation and we haven't spoken in a while, but it's the conversation is just really good, so that's a soft boundary. And I know that it can we need to make sure, I'm going to speak from my own reflections, is that it can get confusing. That's when we talk about as far as soft boundaries creating confusion, because if we're talking about having just a little, like you said, little itty bitty pretty soft boundary, and then let's say but then I know that I really need to go though, then I really need to be clear on my boundary and not making it confusing. I might say, oh, I have to go at this time, but then if I just keep going past that time, then yeah, it's going to be looked at as a soft boundary. But I need to be making sure that I'm clear and set on those boundaries that are non negotiable, like you said, that are not
Yeah.
negotiable. So,
Okay. That makes sense.
yeah. So I think we good on that whole reflection piece. Like, I, the soft boundaries versus clear boundaries. I think that's a good topic to like maybe go further into, when we go into another part of the whole hard no. It'd be good to dive even further with that because yeah, there's soft boundaries and then there's boundaries that you're clear on that are non-negotiables. We just need to make sure that we're careful not to have it be confusing to people, if that makes sense.
Yes, that makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And not having people cross those boundaries. People tend to cross the boundaries. I mean, that happens all the time, but we need to be very clear and set on making sure that they don't cross those boundaries. So,
Absolutely. Very, very
yeah.
true indeed. I
Yeah.
agree.
Mhm. All right. So, before we go into our last reflection, let's take another pause here. Okay. We're just going to take that deep breath here, inhaling through the nose. And as you exhale here, Ask yourself, where in my life have my boundaries become suggestions instead of decisions? Thinking about that question myself. Ooh, I love these reflections. Yeah, it's good, y'all. Y'all take all this in. Listen, write it down. If you need to meditate on it, if you need to breathe into it. But this is really for us to have these conversations and really reflect on this so
Yeah.
we can change, you know what I'm saying? We can change how things were, especially if it wasn't comfortable for us, if it's no longer serving us. So grateful for the reflections. All right, y'all. Last reflection here for the show for our first episode one, the hard no part one. Our last reflection, the hard no protects peace. Let's get
Yes.
into it. The hard no protects peace.
Yes. A hard no is not harsh
Mm-mm.
at all.
No.
A hard no is clarity, standing firm without guilt, trusting your own decision, protecting your peace without needing permission.
Yes. So usually, right when we see the hard no, oh, it's a hard no for this season, right, Millie? We're like, okay. Then people are like, well, what you mean it's a hard no? Okay, dang, you're gonna be mean about it because people get in their feelings. They get easily get offended. No, again, it's bringing clarity. We talked about clear boundaries, right? So that hard no brings clarity, not just for me if I'm the one giving the hard no out, is bringing clarity for me and for the other person or other people on the other end that I'm giving the hard no to. So
Yeah,
this
it's
is
crazy
not to
how the
offend
hard
people.
no. Yeah, it's not to offend people, but also it ties into the boundary part too. Saying that hard no, it gives clarity to your boundaries to, like you said, for yourself and others, where they know where, okay, I'm not gonna cross that line because they were serious. They're serious about their time. So, yeah.
Yeah. And trusting your hard no, right? That is your decision. You're going to stand firm with it without feeling guilt and with trusting it. Trust that means trusting yourself because I feel like a lot of times we tend to not trust ourselves. And then we question it and we go back and forth. And then that's when the hard no starts to turn into a soft no. And then all of a sudden it's a big yes. We kind of regress. We regress and we go back to the yes. We regress to the
Yes.
yes. We regress to the yes. No, trusting in that hard no. This season is the season of a hard no. So I'm going to trust myself and I'm going to stand firm in my hard no without feeling guilty. Now, that's still a work in progress for me. I will tell you that, Millie, because, sometimes I'm just like, oh, there's that guilt of feeling a little bad, right? But that's because I'm so used to saying yes all the time. This is
I
all
hear you.
Yes, this is all new for me and saying, oh, it's a hard no for me. But yet at the same time, there's so much power and so much confidence and so much relief when I actually say it out loud. Yeah, that's a hard no for me. I love the fact that I can say it out loud.
Yeah, it's protecting your peace too
Mhm.
when you say it out loud.
Yep. Because
And
mhm.
I do love taking those slow, deep breaths. And I believe it's time for a final reflection pause. So, what we're going to do together, once again, is take one last slow breath. So, take it with us. As you inhale, breathe in, breathe out. Now, you can reflect on this question. What deserves a hard no in this season of my life? What deserves a hard no? Think about it, pause. That breathing is everything. I'm telling you. I love the breathing.
Love it, y'all. Yeah. Yes.
So maybe this season isn't about asking us to become harder. Maybe it's inviting us to become clear.
Yes, I love that. Absolutely love it. And every time we honor our own no, our hard no, y'all, we remind ourselves that our voice matters. That hard no is not about shutting people out. Keep that in mind. It's about refusing to abandon you, yourself. Sending out so much gratitude. Thank you so much for spending this time here with us on our first episode of True Reflections, the Hard No Part 1. And y'all, if this conversation today has resonated with you, we would love for you to continue reflecting on what came up for you today. Yes. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, continue reflecting, continue growing, and I'll let you wrap it up, Millie.
Yes, and continue to honor the peace you've worked so hard to create. So, guys, we'll see you in our next episode of True Reflections.